Hi guys! My name is Lisa the Bear and welcome to my channel. Here you will find all things crafty, sewing, and chaotic. Today I wanted to show you guys how I make my reusable cloth pads. These are a reusable menstrual pad that can just be tossed in the washing machine and reused month after month. They can be made from materials that most home sewists have at the ready. The materials you will need for this project are cotton, flannel, fleece, some kind of closure such as snaps or Velcro, and pull. Pull is a polyurethane laminate fabric that is flexible, hardworking, and waterproof. I like to add it as an extra layer to my large pads as just a little bit of extra protection at night. The pattern I am using in this video has been drafted from several different pads that I have used throughout the years. You can take your favorite one and simply trace it, or you can start from scratch with a simple design that mimics a store-bought pad. And now, without further ado, let the chaos begin. So here you can see me taking that pattern and tracing it with a pen that disappears with heat. You can either rub the line away or I just use my iron. This pattern is one that I've drafted from several different types. Just fixing the line there. And this fabric is actually left over from an apron I made for a friend. And then I quickly switch over to using my rotary cutter, which you'll see in the next section when we start to cut out the pull. Here we are cutting out that pull with that same pattern. This is just some old cardboard that I had lying around that I used to draft this pattern. And pull again is an optional layer that I like to add for extra protection. It's got a waterproofing layer to it, so it just prevents any leaks from happening, especially if you have a heavy flow or if you're going to be wearing the pad overnight. Those corners and curves always give me trouble. And this is our fleece layer. This will be the bottom of the pad. Fleece is also naturally water and liquid resistant, so it just provides another layer of protection on the bottom of the pad. Again, struggling with those corners and curves. Now this is going to be your absorbent layer. This is the flannel that we're using. I'm actually using some old sheets. And this will be hidden between all the layers, so it won't be seen. So it really doesn't matter what pattern or color it is. I usually put about 4 layers together to create the core for my largest pad that we're making here today. As you can see, I'm cutting that out, and then I will repeat that again until I have 4. And then I'm going to take those 4 core pieces over to my sewing machine and sew them together to create one cohesive unit. You can either sew around the outside of all 4 layers in the circular motion of the pad, or sometimes I'll just sew it straight down the center and then across the widest part at the bottom. Next, we're going to pin our core to our topper, and then sewing from the top, you're going to quilt it on. And just do a straight stitch right down the center, and then one across the widest portion at the bottom of the pad. This is just to hold it in place while we put all of the layers together. No fancy stitching here, just a regular straight stitch across. And now we come to assembly. You're going to put everything right sides together, starting with the cotton topper, then the fleece layer, and then ending, if you use it, with the pull on top. You can tell which side is the right side of the pull because it's smooth. The wrong side, which you will have faced up, is slightly sticky and has a shininess to it. Here I am just double checking that to make sure I have the layers correctly. Then you're going to pin along all the sides, making sure to penetrate all 3 layers. You want to try and keep the pins within a 1/4 inch seam allowance to prevent extra holes in your pull. You can also use binder clips. Some people are brave and don't use pins at all. But when working with pull, I do like to have that extra security of it being held together and not sliding all over the place in my machine. And then moving really slowly, here I have the footage sped up quite a bit. I'm going to sew along the entire pad with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, making sure that I'm catching all 3 layers as I go. I like to leave the pull on top as I work because my feed dogs don't like to grab it as well as it grabs that cotton. A walking foot also helps tremendously with this, but it isn't required as long as you move slow and you take your time. And if you catch some of the core while you're sewing around the edges, don't worry about it, as it's going to be on the inside of the pad, so you're not going to see it. While sewing, you want to make sure to leave a 2-inch gap at the top of your pad to turn it out. And again, I'm really taking my time here, making sure to go around all the corners, making sure to hit those wings with a good 1/4 inch seam allowance, that everything's moving slowly and cohesively and flowing nicely. Now there are a lot of layers to this pad, so in order to cut down on the bulk, I like to pink the edges of the entire pad, except for the 2 inches at the top that I'm going to be using to turn it out. So after you've pinked it, you're going to turn the whole thing's right side out, treating the pull and the fleece layer as one layer. So what'll happen is that pull will get tucked inside, creating a waterproof layer, and then your fleece will be on the outside. I like to use sometimes, I just use my finger for this. Other times you can use a chopstick or a dull pencil, pen with a cap on it to get all those edges nice and flat. And then finally, you're going to take it back over to your machine and you're going to tuck that 2-inch gap into itself. And you're going to go all around the pad with a zigzag stitch. It just makes it look nice and neat, and it keeps that turning gap nice and secure so you don't have to worry about fraying. Here I am going along the bottom curve of that pad, taking my time, really watching where all the stitches are going, making sure to get that pad nice and flat. And finally, you're going to add a closure to the wings of your pad. I like to use snaps, but sew-in Velcro is also a great option. The self-sticking Velcro does not last through washes quite as well, so I would avoid using that. And first things first, I'm going to stab my awl through the pad to create the holes for my snaps. And then using my snap press, I'm going to add those snaps in. You can use metal or plastic snaps. These are plastic size 12 Dritz snaps. They're just what I had in stock at the moment. Metal snaps are just as fine too. In fact, metal snaps last a little bit longer, but sometimes you do have to worry about them corroding and rusting as you do go through your period. And that's it, guys. After the snaps are put in, they will allow you to secure it around the gusset in your underpants and keep that pad nice and secure while you go throughout your day. It's not going to move back and forth. It's not going to move up and down. And here I am testing the snaps to make sure they worked. And there you go. You got a nice reusable pad. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and can use it to make your own cloth pads in the future for friends, family, or even yourself. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that like button and maybe even hit the subscribe button for some more chaotic content. As always, have a chaos day! If you like what you see... Let's try a closer one. That's too close. Chaotic. Yes, honey. Ooh, I like it. I especially like the green on the eyebrows and then the brown underneath. No. No more gumballs. No more gumballs. You've had enough.
Please.
No. No more.
You did it, Mommy.
Love you.